All right, so today is 11/11/2021, and this is a 6-month projection reading for Jessica. And Jessica, I just wanted to put a couple of things out there, some things to note. Today, 11/11 is a very well-known portal in the energy worker land, I guess. And the best way I like to describe it is, for me, this is basically when the new year starts. It doesn't start in January, it starts right now. And that's because we're in the middle of harvest season. There's a lot of, the fruits of our labor energy coming in right now. So what that means is, what have I done over, the last several months that have heightened and refined and honed in some of my skills, some of my, talents, my gifts that maybe you probably, it's very interesting how it's going on this trajectory, but you may realize as we go through this reading things about yourself that you didn't know needed to be brought to your attention. And when I say that, I mean giving yourself the credit that you deserve in the areas that maybe you have taken for granted with yourself, areas that maybe others don't value as deeply as not others value as deeply. What is it I'm seeing? So what keeps coming in is the message that you wrote about that everything feels really good right now, and everything feels, you feel joyful and that kind of thing. And so that is coming in, and this is a highlight to that. It's like, okay, what in addition to what you've already noticed that is bringing you to that level of awareness and that level of frequency, what are you noticing skill wise that maybe other people don't know that's a skill of yours that needs to be used now coming up into the next year? That's what I'm seeing. So I am going to dive into your energy reading. And there are 5 topics that we will cover. I'm going to include a little cheat sheet so you can look at it, just so that you know what we'll be diving into. So the first one is, it's going to be insight on a spiritual level. And this is basically what you are transmuting right now. So what's going on? We always are learning. We're always gaining more information all the time, whether we're asking for it or not. And so that's what this information is about. Like, what are you getting information on maybe that hasn't come to fruition yet? The second one is, what will benefit you focusing on it daily so that you can assist with ease and grace this transformation that's already taking place within you. So it's basically like a daily mantra or motto. The third one, we talked a little bit about gene keys. I will send you a link with the gene key that pulled up for you. It was actually gene key 64, imagination. And this is the gift of the transformation you're going through. So it looks to me, just by looking at these couple of cards here, that your imagination is being activated right now at a much deeper level, a level that you probably, it's going to be hard to imagine. We'll just say that. Your imagination, it's hard to imagine. The next one is, what is the opportunity? So what is the opportunity in this transformation? And then lastly, I always like to bring in a special guidance card information from the horses. They have been huge support systems for me throughout my training and throughout my own evolution. And so I always bring in an extra card from them just to assist with the power and potency of the reading. All right, so jumping into the insight on your spiritual level, the first energy, ascended master, goddess, God, whatever you want to call it. I just listen to tones. I listen to frequencies, names. So when I hear them, I don't question it. A lot of the time, I've never met or heard of a lot of these people, and I have to go look them up. This one in particular, Isis, she is someone that I've been working with for about 2 years now. And she came forth in actually the similar way that she just came forth for you. And this is speaking of the divine sisterhood and brotherhood of light. And so this card gets highlighted when someone is building a community. And what that means is we're in the midst of a transition right now in humanity. And there is a need for leaders, community leaders. And when I say community leaders, that does not mean like what it used to mean. It doesn't mean I'm stepping in, I'm running the show, I'm taking charge. It means I am being in a certain way, and I'm attracting in other beings who are also being in this way, and we develop a community. That's leadership in a high frequency community. That is the leadership of the sanctuary. And so in this time and space, it's crucial that we have communities based in equality, respect, boundaries, freedom, and a mutual desire to grow personally, spiritually, and to obtain this very deep, innate wisdom that we have within us, and to be able to nurture that in a community that is doing it consciously, on purpose, intentionally. And so what I'm hearing is not the opportunity, but what you're transmuting right now could look like belief systems around what that community needs to look and feel like for you. So rather than putting stipulations around what you think it needs to look like. So I'll give you an example. It's easier. Earlier today, I was complaining to my guides and I was like, these are my stipulations. I was like, I don't want to, and I was doing the 2-year-old, I don't want to have any more interaction on Facebook for my business. And my guides were like, yeah, that's not really something that's going to allow for me to expand fully. So rather than putting stipulations on it like this is how it has to look like outside, I need to look at how it looks inside. So instead, I want to focus on things that really help nourish my body when I'm interacting with it. So I want to use my energy and focus on my energy in a way that allows me to feel expansive and liberated in my gifts. Just things that our human is going to have to let go of as far as judgments and expectations, because the moment we look outside of us and say, oh, this is what the boundaries need to be outside of me, that's when we limit ourselves. That's when we put ourselves in a box. So the objective here for you is to go inward and pay attention to how it feels. And you already know how to do this. We've already had conversations. You talked about your current boss and how you guys have a very open relationship. He really respects you and appreciates you and listens to you. So focusing on those sensations. That way, it's not preventing you from the blessings that you are just stepping into right now. And you have a little taste of that because of what you had said in your message, how you're feeling in alignment right now. So this is what you're transmuting, and this is what is coming. All right, so the next piece is what to focus on day to day to embody the first piece. And so this one is unconditional trust. And it's actually Ascended Master Mother Mary. And this is all about being able to trust each step in the process, which you already know this. And using your divine trust that you have established right now in your current life and day to day, using that to structure an outline for this community that is coming into your awareness. And also, one other thing that came in was to make sure that when you're imagining this being, it really can be anything. Like, just because you're a spiritual conscious being doesn't mean that you're not participating in the world anymore. It just means that you're conscious, you're aware, you're authentic, you're paying attention, you're striving towards self-awareness. So breaking a stigma down around what that needs to look and feel like, but also being highly aware that these communities where authenticity, boundaries, respect, and so on can be felt and upheld, those are so rare. So whatever area you are led into, to trust that the reason you're being led here, wherever that ends up being, that you may or may not see, you might have a glimpse of it. If you don't, you will at the end of this next 6 months. But this community needs a high frequency vibration person for the harmonization of the group. And it's because the harmonization of the group allows for people's nervous systems, which I'm telling you right now, sister, the world's nervous systems are in upheaval, which I'm sure you already know that. And it is absolutely crucial that we have these sanctuaries, these spaces, these communities where we can go and our nervous systems can have some reprieve from the chaos that's going on. And the reason why is because the chaos needs to happen. This is just a part of the shift that's going on in humanity. It's, been predicted forever, and everybody can feel it and is acting out in one way, shape, or form. And you trusting that in this miraculous way, something that you love to do anyway, something that brings you joy, that you get to add your beautiful frequency and harmonizing nervous system to the group. That's a gift that keeps on giving to everyone. And understand that it has a bigger impact on consciousness and humanity than you can imagine, which of course comes back to you tenfold. The next one is your gift. The gift in this transformation. The gift is your imagination. Now, some of these questions that I'm going to pose for you, you may want to listen to this later down the road. You might want to write them down now. But my recommendation to you is keep these questions nearby, because when there's moments of confusion, this is what will assist you in illuminating the next steps. This is what will assist you in taking those necessary next steps for the evolution of your soul. So what are these questions? In order to activate this imagination of yours at a higher level, where are you avoiding pain to fit in so that your imagination is being stifled? And it may not be happening right now. This may be a question in the next 6 months when that spark starts to happen. And I do it too, I'm not going to lie. We all have it a little bit in our bodies, and I'll tell you why. In the past, in past centuries, and it's stored right in our DNA, in our nervous systems, We were burned at the stake. We were murdered. We were flayed. We were drowned, and all other sorts of horrendous acts against the divine feminine. And so it's natural, it's normal, it's an act of revolution to listen to that divine feminine. So where in your body do you feel yourself getting angry? That is an example of a part of you that is being stifled because of fear of vulnerability. Because in the past, being vulnerable could also have meant death. And so these are all just part of our nervous system. It's deep, etched deep into our bones. It's something that we came here to transmute. It's a gift for us to be aware and to be able to rewrite these programs. So it's like, as soon as we feel ourselves shrinking, where can we allow ourselves to expand so that we're not hiding our very powerful originality? The other question for you is, how much time are you leaving room for your imagination? Are you giving yourself enough space, open space, empty space for that imagination to come through? And I can't stress this enough. I mean, if you're already doing it, then don't worry about it. Use this as a reminder to continue doing that over the next 6 months. We have to have open space. We have to. There has to be a certain amount of variability and flexibility allowed in our schedules for the divine to come through. And that's our soul. That's our higher guiding system. So yes, you're receiving the signs by having this new love relationship come in, and you are, your career is really taking off. Make sure you're leaving that space for yourself. Do not get caught up in the excitement of all of the newness and forget how much you nurtured yourself to get here by giving yourself what you needed to get here. Make sure you're holding your boundaries in place for you so that you can continue to nurture these beautiful aspects of yourself, the relationships, the job, those aspects of yourself are receiving the best parts of you, and continue to do that for yourself as well. All right, so the opportunity here, you have the coyote coming in. Now the coyote, the thing I appreciate about the coyote, you think of maybe Wile E. Coyote from Looney Tunes, but truly the coyote knows how to have fun. The coyote always has this smirk on its face, almost like it's amused. And for you, this is an invitation to, over the next 6 months, as everything is taking shape, allow yourself to find humor and gentle amusement in any of the obstacles that are coming your way. So trying to find almost looking at it in an opposite way. So being able to enact the law of polarity, the universal law of polarity. So if you haven't already been practicing this, just challenging yourself, even if you're already happy. And I'm not saying you should go into the dark places. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, even when you're happy, being able to reflect on where you've come from. Or like when you're in the dark places, being able to realize that maybe it's not as it seems, and knowing that you have that evidence right now. You have the evidence right now, and using your right now as an anchor for the next 6 months. And I'm saying this because collectively as a people, things are very unpredictable. And that's because there's just so much change happening within people's nervous systems. Our blueprints are changing. And so the way that it is being actualized outside of us will also continuously change. And this is just a part of what's happening right now within humanity. And so calling on the coyote, the trickster of the Native American folklore. It allows you to get into new routines, new habits that may in the past have tripped you up. So like when you look at the original message of community, you know, what has prevented you from being able to be in community before? For me, it was, I felt like my emotions were too much. And it wasn't until the sanctuary that I was really able to harness the potency and the power of these emotions, because nobody was afraid of them. Nobody really cared that I was extra emotional. Well, to them, it seemed normal. And so being able to find that tribe, that community where you can really be that highest version of yourself, and also where are you tricking yourself into thinking that you don't deserve to be in a community setting? And I'm talking about every mirror of yourself, every facet of yourself, being able to be received at that level, being able to be received as your fullest self and loved in all of those places, and that you deserve it. All right, so the final message from the horses, so beautiful. This message is about clearing. It's about bursting forth. And you talked about your frequency being high right now, and this is a mirror of that your vibration is at a new peak right now. And because of that, you're being asked to be free. Let that fire and that passion burn. Allow it to take you along the flow of the current that you've already created for yourself. Allow this clearing to carry you forth effortlessly along the currents of life. So that is the completion of your reading. I do want to add one more thing. I think it was interesting that my own nervous system went through an upgrade. I believe this is my belief system, that anytime that we have some sort of quote unquote illness, that our body, our immune system is acclimating to the new environment, because our environment is always changing. You know, climate change is real. We're shifting, the planet's shifting, lots of things are happening. And when our body, our immune system activates and upgrades like that, we also receive new information. And the message that I got, and the message that I have been getting all day today, is around mediumship and messages, and being able to connect with what is unseen and be able to make it tangible, to be able to verbalize it. And the reason why this is so important right now as a guide and as a seer is not everybody can do this. And for a long time, I believed that anybody could be trained to do these things, to translate, to interpret. And the fact is that everybody cannot. And that's okay, because we need the anchors. We need the people that are in the earth form. And we need the people that can think logically. And so when you are using your skill at doing that in the way that you do, just trust that it's a lot more powerful and potent than you can imagine. It's a time in reality in the world where there is a harmony and a balance that is happening. And being able to do the dance with the feminine and the masculine together is crucial for this shift. And so I just wanted to honor that. I wanted to honor you and this message, this reading, and I wanted to thank you for your patience, but most importantly, for your trust in taking this slot up to hear the channels. So I love you so much. I look forward to your feedback.